Scorpio, hi, welcome. It's Erin Scott here with the Alchemy of Holism. So I was actually waiting. I was really wanting the light to be a little bit lower for your reading for whatever reason. But I think by the time I complete the reading, it'll actually get to that kind of warm state. So I'm going to get started on your reading and see what comes through. What I'm doing here, as I've been doing since the beginning of the year, is one of the ways we connect with nature, natural systems, and the evolutionary cycle of these different archetypes, the different signs, is we tap in. And we can tap into the source field. All of us can do it and channel through information, the pictures, the symbols, the colors, the spatial relationships that want to come through to feed us messages. What are the catalyzing events coming through for you this particular month, the new moon cycle of the Gemini Sun conjunction, which happened yesterday, the Gemini new moon, mid-June to mid-July, okay? Already, we're halfway through 2018, which is astounding. But here we go. So let's tap in. I'm going to first identify you up here, Scorp. Okay. Alrighty. So, and I have my gouache. Oh, come on, Drax. You want to come? So I have my gouache paints here, okay? And we're going to tap in, see what colors and images of my kitty cat's down here, too. Do you want to come up and say hi? He was just outside in the rain. It was raining this afternoon. It was really nice. You want to come up here? You want to come on the window? You want to come on the window? Okay. All right, Scorpies, so how are you all doing? It's a very dynamic time, okay? So astrologically, I'll kind of tune into some stuff as I'm bringing stuff through and as I'm talking about the symbology. So we'll talk about some of the astrology. Scorp. So let's tap in. Now, my allergies are kind of kicking up this evening, so just know that I have some allergy stuff happening here. All right, Scorpio. So I'm going to be a little bit quiet, okay, as I tap in, and then we'll talk. It is starting to rain outside again, so maybe you'll hear some of the sounds of the rain, which would be really nice. I'm also going to select from my Siri deck, and we're going to pull at least one card to tap into what can support you this month for your growth processes that are happening. When we're tapping into the growth arcs for a particular new moon cycle, which is a rebooting, that's a new storyline that's kind of coming into play, it's just your natural evolution. It's the natural evolution of the scorpionic identity at this time. There's certain activations that is just naturally unfolding. It's part of the natural cycle. Scorp. So we have a pool coming through. It's like a pool a self-standing pool, like a surface pool that you sit on grass, on ground. Let me tap in here, Scorp. Hold on a second. See if you can see that okay. Yeah, I think so. Looks okay. Okay, Scorp. I'm being more quiet on yours actually than I was on the other ones. But just bear with me because I want to pull this through. I want to pull it through as it needs to come. So we have not one dog that was barking, but two. So we'll talk about that as well. So Scorp, that might be a little bit hard to see, but there's like two people sitting on the side of the pool, okay? And there's a diving board. There also wants to be a house over here. There needs to be a house that's definitely wanting to come through. It wanted to come through earlier too. Kind of in the background over here. So Scorp, let's talk about it. I mean, I don't know. This one's a little bit funky. I need to look at it. I need to feel into it. I mean, literally, like forms just come, and then it's a matter. Sometimes it's very clear as it's coming what it is, what wants to be formed, and then other times the whole picture just needs to come through. Oftentimes, there's still a holistic message that just needs to come through. There's a couple things. Let me identify what there is first, okay? So the first thing that came through was this kind of green movement, okay, which can represent growth. And here there's almost like this organic, big, showy growth. So something really may be coming out loud, out of you into the world. A new website, a blog, a video, a project, something that you've created, a product, something like that. But there's something kind of big that's coming out over the course of the cycle that feels good, it feels comforting, and it feels true for your identity. And there's this kind of gold, very bright gold, actually. This is a new incorporated today. This kind of bright gold emanation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, could be spiritually based. It could be for a lot of you, especially tuning in here, you could be part of, or you could have your own spiritually based business. And if that's the case, there's some sort of a growth that's emanating, okay, out on the airwaves, on the internet, etc. Okay, over the course of the cycle. Now, the green growth led to this pool, the swimming pool. It's not an in-ground pool. It's a surface-mounted pool, which has meaning. And I need to think about it, actually. I need to think about it. It wanted to be a surface-mounted pool. And this is like summertime. These are like two kids sitting on the side, and there's this like a pier. Ultimately, what came was this pier on stilts that's leading up to this pool. This is an interesting one. Typically for the other readings, it's been, you know, it's usually pretty smooth. So I really do want to meditate on this for a bit. The pool is representing, because the pool is the container. It's like the grail for the deep dive, right? Especially with the diving board, okay? So the diving board is representing dive deep. The surface-mounted pool is not a permanent installation. So what I want to say is that this month, for this mid-June to mid-July cycle, there's like a new addition, let's say, or a new activation, a new energy, a new opportunity to dive deep into something that maybe you haven't before, okay? So again, this is like a summer scene, and this is the first summer scene thus far that I've done for the readings for the cycle. Right? And we are in summer. We're going to be in summer. The summer solstice is approaching on the 21st. So we're in the northern hemisphere. Summer solstice in the northern. So for those of us in the northern hemisphere, there is this kind of summer scene. And indeed, kids, swimming pool, sunshine, you know, some sort of fun. Because this is emitting some sort of joy here. Whatever this green emission is that's joyfully kind of, let's say, coming out through you, it's joyful. The kids certainly represent something joyful as well. But the fact that it's the surface-mounted pool definitely is speaking to a temporary opportunity this month to dive deep into something. Now, it could be something from your childhood. Now, this would not be unusual, especially with the fact that Mars is conjunct the South Node. It's going retrograde. We're going to have it in this conjunction in Aquarius for the next several months, throughout the summer and part of the fall, okay? It's a multiple month. It's like a 5-6 month journey of Mars Aquarius, right? Long journey, but it's also hugging and in correlation with the South Node. And this is bringing up past patterns, past human narratives, past collective human aggressed tendencies, but also individual that we hold within our own soul narrative in this life. And so there could be something from childhood that comes up that's going to allow a deep dive. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's negative. It could be that there's a deep dive that evokes a joyful aspect of childhood, okay? This is like a sunny summer day out at the pool. And it could be that there's a deep dive into beautiful feelings that evoke some sort of a pure state. right? So it's not necessarily negative or positive. It's just what it is. For some of you, the deep dive that's going to emerge, something's going to catalyze a deep dive. It could be quite joyful. It could be that you get to reconnect with some joyful aspect of you, you know, of your joyful essence, of your childhood essence. Okay? Because keep in mind, whatever this green growth is that's emanating out joyfully outwardly, it links to this pool, and it links to the children, and it links to the diving board. There's a willingness to dive into the pool. And the thing about the surface mounted temporary installation pool and not the in-ground is that you know where the bottom is. It's not like scary, right? It's not like you're going into the deep ocean waters here. You're going 4 feet deep or 6 feet deep or something. But the thing that I want to point out, there's a couple things. There's the house and there's the pier, Scorp. I find the pier interesting. And it's, by the way, and it's in black. It was a black gouache paint that I chose, but it actually washed out very, very light gray. So this kind of gray pier. A pier evokes imagery of the coast, of the ocean, of the sea, and kind of a boardwalk. You know, the pier is kind of an extension of some sort of coastal area, perhaps with a boardwalk. So again, we have this idea of summer, innocence, lightness, bright sunniness. It's like the light of the sun is bringing awareness to. Everything is clearly seen, in other words, right? It's the bright sun of the day. It's the brightness of the long summer days. It's like there's no, it's not reflective moonlight. We're able to see clearly. And the pier kind of evokes that coastal, long, sunny days sort of an atmosphere. But there's something else about it. I actually want to pull a card. Let me pull a card. So I have my Siri deck, everybody. This is my 144 card deck, okay? And I'm going to pull a growth edge or something that's going to help you with your growth for this time frame. But before we go into the house, let's pull up for the pier. What is that? There's something about it. You know what I want to do, too, before I pull a card? Let me pull, this is my dream book. This is my very old, very ancient dream book from Betty Bethard's. This is my second copy. I actually had an original copy, like, oh my God, from forever ago. Let me see if Pier is on here. Just for shits and giggles, as they say. I don't know if it'll be here. It is here. Emotional safety region, okay? Pier, emotional safety region. You may stay for a while to rest and regroup. Avoid the ups and downs of emotional turmoil. Also, you may survey emotional scene and gain perspective. This is very good because what I'm seeing here is that you are, the pier is approaching this surface mounted pool with the kids. And what I get, especially from what Betty's saying here, is that you will have a capacity in the month ahead to actually survey a situation, okay, I think from a viewpoint that's, number one, a bit detached. You're able to perceive it from this emotional safety point of view, okay, and from, let's say, from a distance, okay. Even though you're walking toward and you're approaching the pool, you can stay far back, you can come close up, but you can walk away from it. You can see it, but there's a safety in your observation of whatever it is that's coming up from the past. Something from your childhood is coming up. And again, for some of you, it's actually going to be joyful remembrances about stuff you used to love to do. You might be remembering essences of your emotional guidance system that really led you to your natural inclinations for certain aspects of life that were joyful. But for some of you, it might be a deep dive into something painful from childhood. Okay, it's going to be different for all of you. But you have an emotional ability to stay safe and a bit detached, you know, like more in your higher perspective, you know? I love this for you. You may survey emotional scene, waters, and gain perspective. So there's an ability here to gain perspective and see clearly, in other words, right? Because just like we were talking about kind of this sunny summer scene, that it's long days, the sun is out, you can see clearly. There's no delusion. If you're willing, there's no delusion. And if you're willing to own your perspective filter and own your own stories about what you're seeing, because what you're seeing is not truth. What you're seeing is through your perspective lens, which is flavored with your particular facet of consciousness, your soul story. So as long as you own that, you're golden, right? But this is beautiful. This is a safety spot, everybody. I love that for you. I don't think I need to look up house, but let's look it up. Let's look it up. I haven't read house from Betty in a while, so let's see. So the house, just like the vehicle. So this is a dream book, the dream book, by the way, okay? Betty's transition, she passed away in 2002, but she was a fabulous teacher in Northern California. I saw her many times. In fact, this little butterfly, this little sticker is from her funeral. Yeah, anyway, wonderful. She was fabulous. She was very light, meaning smart and grounded, but light. She took everything, you know, she called this the earth suit, which is exactly what it is. You know, it's like we're just playing a role here, everybody. We're just holding a story. So it's about taking it lightly. One of the biggest growth edges for humans now moving forward is taking everything much lighter. Stop identifying so intently with this small self story that you're holding. It's just a story. This is just a body. This is just a suit. This is just a narrative that you're holding for right now. It's no big deal. It's really no big deal. Take it lightly, everybody. And it might be that over the course of the cycle, you're able to take things a bit lighter. Now, just like the car in dreams is the vehicle, you know, the vehicle of the car in a dream is the self, right? It's the same with the house. Because keep in mind, we are the creator and the director and the writer and the producer of our own dreams. It doesn't come to us necessarily, although they're all different brands of dreams. There's different kinds of dreams, but most dreams, there are psyche's bubble. You know, it's like it's all us. It's all us, just like life is all us. Everything external is us. The house is in fact the self. So where you are in the house and what is going on provides insight into the many facets. Obviously, this is a perspective of home. Like from the pool to the home, there's a bit of a distance. And indeed, the pier to the pool, the home is almost at the other side of the pier to the pool. This could be, everybody, a childhood home. You could have some narrative. Some of you might have a narrative about a childhood home. I also want to point something else out. Do you see this initial green growth, this organic kind of emergent growth? It essentially originates at the house and it ends up at the pool. If we are talking about the house as the self, if we're doing that, and if we're talking about the pool, actually, let's see what she says for pool. Let's see what little Betty says for pool. Where are you? Sorry, hold on, everybody. I'm losing my, here we go. It's a mirror. So pool, according to Dreams Mirror, if a swimming pool suggests rest, relaxation, healthful exercise. It is a reflection, but I do see this for you specifically as a dive. especially because there's a diving board and their pier is leading up to the diving board. So you're able to perceive what you need to dive into. This is what I'm getting for you, okay? But again, this growth, this organic growth that's coming from this home or the self to maybe a more playful iteration of you during this time frame. I do think that for a lot of you, you're going to be accessing your childlike self. And this is beautiful. Let it come. Let it come. If you do feel that you're starting to access memories, remembrances, you know, about a previous self, about a pure self, about a self that was not weighted by these definitions and assessments and judgments about the isness of your life that made it right and wrong and shouldn't be that way, and trauma, all of that identification. It's the mind's identification with the isness, you know, whatever the event is, whatever the conversation is, whatever the relationship is, that is the suffering. It's the idea around the event that is the suffering. If you don't believe me, self-inquire, go in, go deep, because it's the truth. So, but I will say, I think that actually for the majority of you, you're going to be accessing, you're going to be connecting self to joy, self to the childlike self, you know? And the house kind of represents the more sturdy you, maybe the adult you, the homeowner you. You know, it's like the responsible self and the child with the friend, you know, the child with the friend at the edge of the pool. The interesting thing is the children are on the opposite side of the diving board. Maybe they're also contemplating taking a dive, you know, and it could be that this is all happening, this joyful connection that you're making between adult self and childlike self. It's like from the pier, you're safely able to assess the dive. The children are looking at the diving board, thinking about it. But certainly this is like before you took the dive into adulthood, you know? It's almost like the children represent just the pure state of you. It's very exciting, actually, I have to say. So everybody, let me pull again. So this is going to be what can support you over this month ahead, okay, for your growth and evolution, for whatever you're accessing. The other thing that I'll point out here, too, as I'm shuffling, is there's this kind of horizon line of soil. Okay, so it's like just ground, but it's not ground with grass on it. It's kind of soil. So there's potential there because soil obviously can be seeded. So it's almost like, I think for a lot of you, this month is representing this connection that you're making that is the beginning of a new story. It's a reboot. Now keep in mind, one thing that I haven't talked about on any of these particular art channeled scopes for the public channel, but what I have talked about with my members was all the dynamics tied to this particular Gemini new moon, which was very powerful. Sun moon conjunct at 2244 Gemini and very close to a Mercury conjunction. Mercury had just entered Cancer, simultaneous with other activations, but there is a recalibration of the psyche happening. There is a reboot of the mind that is happening. If we're willing, if we're courageous, if we're brave, and if we're willing to actually own our own thoughts and mind, and we're not victim to a perceived randomness of life that is a myth. Life is very intelligently coordinated, very self-organized, including the soul structure. So your soul knows exactly what it's doing. You might think that you're off base, but there's no way you are. You're not off base. You're never off base. You're at the exact place you need to be. You're never off. You're never off. It's a myth that people think they're off or that they're not doing what they should be doing. You're actually doing exactly what you quote unquote should be doing. Okay? But if you're not feeling joy in that, then there is an adjust, then you're ready. You're ready to adjust. You're ready to align more purely with your soul prince essence. So, wow. So you're getting the dream, imagine, envision card, okay? And you can see this woman sleeping. Actually, isn't it interesting? I have to say, it's interesting that I'm actually using Betty Bethard's dream book for your particular reading. I've not used it for anybody else. And here we have a dream book, dream card. So this is what I want to say. Both of these have messages for you. Use, first of all, if you don't already participate in your own awareness during your dream state in lucid dreaming, I want you to study it and learn it and practice it. Because there's something here for you. There's something here for you to access this state of inner child, the state of the dream. What is it that you envision for yourself? What is your new story? What is your dream? What's the big dream? I actually just recently posted something on Facebook about I'm dreaming the big dream. And I am a Scorpio. So indeed, you know, dream, imagine, envision. It is, you're inherently a manifester. Every human is. As within, so without. Where we get caught is when the outside or the externalization feels dissonant. It's reflecting an inner dissonance, always, always. So you're never off path. It's just a matter of you getting to that aligned state and operating from that aligned state for the aligned externalization of your story, of your context. Dream, imagine, and envision, Scorpio, is saying, okay, it's time for you to actually get to work because you need to remember what brings you joy and dream it big. Now, use your dreamscape too, but imagine it. Start to feel in what aspects of life bring you great joy. What kind of people, what kind of relationships, what kind of context, what kind of geography, what kind of community situation, what kind of house, what kind of things in the house, what kind of food, what kind of preparation of food, quality of food. Think about quality versus quantity. That's certainly the way humans, the evolved human, will move forward. But I have to tell you, you're starting to dream this month. Do you hear what I'm saying? You're starting to dream. You're starting to connect to the early you, the pure you, the essence, the source self, the pure innocent one. You're connecting to it. Now, it's not happening to you. You have to participate in this. This is the potential of this month. But you have to participate. You have to dream the big dream. You have to sit in stillness. What I've been telling all my clients, all my members, and what I'm saying essentially on each one of these scopes is you must ground now. It's not even a matter of choice. If you want to stay sane and safe and grounded, you know, and balanced and at peace and in any kind of a sense of freedom for these next few years, do your spiritual practice every day. Meditation twice a day, twice, upon awakening and before you go to bed. Have your daily ritual. Get out in nature every day. Do something creative every day, whether it's journaling, whether it's artistic creations, whether it's dance, cooking, gardening, whatever it is for you. Do something creative every day. But it's a matter of you taking the reins back and becoming the master. It's about not letting the wounded aspects of self be the driver of your narrative, of your life story. Most people are deeply unconscious and they let the wound story drive. Now, to know the wound story is key because then you can understand why life has been showing up the way it has. Okay? For those of you who do not know their soul print core encodings, their soul print identification, the narrative that you came into this life with, the mastery trajectory that you're here walking, right? There are two key kind of prongs to the mastery trajectory for you. It is absolutely key that you understand that. And it's absolutely critical that you understand the wound narratives that live within you, because they are seeded for a reason. It's part of your particular embodiment for your growth and evolution. They're serving a function. Where humans get caught and where they get victimized and wounded is we feel that life is beating us up for X, Y, and Z reasons because of these traumas. But it's all seeded, you know, it's within. So the externalized traumas are part of a seeded internal narrative. As within, so without. You're not being punished, you're being reflected. And so it's important to know what the story is so you can get free. Then you can participate fully in knowing yourself, be clear and clean about it, owning it, reloving the wounds, then connect. Connect. And nature, by the way, will help you connect back to this source self, and also your dreams will. So I want those of you to really work with your dreams, Scorpio, this month. I want you to actually learn lucid dreaming. Practice it, read some books about it, go online. There's YouTube videos that you can watch on it. Practice it, because you're responsible to now rewrite your story. And I say that not lightly. I say that actually with deep sincerity, because there's been this releasing pattern over the last several years of old patterning, of wounding and of patterning. But what's been happening is it's been rising, confronting us. A lot of us in the last few years, we've been confronted hard with deep woundings. And it's not that it's to torture us. It's that it's coming up because the frequency is rising and nothing is staying buried anymore. Everything that's within is coming up and out and being seen. We're being hit in the face with all this wounding. Okay, that's part of our own narrative. So it's not to punish us, it's to hit us over the head to get clear. It's like, it's mine. It's mine. This is what I do to myself. So when we own it, then we can participate very clearly, very bravely, very courageously in our path forward. In the last few years, we've been getting confronted because it's time to release those old patterns of being. And indeed, some of the biggest growth edges for a lot of people over the last year is actually dreaming the new dream. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's hard actually to not rely on past patterns of being and actually write the new story of the self. It's not easy. So what is it going to take? It's going to take your commitment. It's going to take your awakeness. It's going to take your daily discipline. It's going to take you doing meditation twice a day. And it's going to take you cleaning up your diet as is called. And it's going to take you moving your need to do. You know, it's like, you know, I need to do some stuff here too, right? Definitely exercise is definitely calling for me now. I've been cleaning up my diet. I've been doing my meditations, and now movement. I'm needing to move again. It's been a while. So this is a beautiful month, Scorp. This is a time frame for you to start writing the script story. One of the things that, actually, I might bring this up in another video. There's something that I'm going to tell you, but I think what I'm going to do is put out a video for the collective for all the signs, because I do think it's important. And I actually am going to bring it forward with my members first. So something else will be coming from me about kind of processes or tools that you can incorporate, that you can do, that's going to help you write the new story. Because actually all humans are really to write their own new story. But this month, it's this month now in this mid-2018 cycle with this juicy, very activated, rich Mars conjunct South Node in Aquarius, Pluto conjunct Black Moon Lilith time frame. This is about owning our power. This is about remembering adolescent aggressed action that was devolved, and it's about transforming the disempowerment narrative. We don't matter, we're not good enough, we can't do it, we don't have what it takes, whatever it is. That's Black Moon Lilith. So how we feel disrespected, denied, not heard, dismissed, that's all to be transmutated. It is naturally being activated, but it does take our participation, wakeful participation, in order to move up, forward, up level, mature, evolve. It takes our participation. It doesn't happen to us. This isn't happening to you. This is the activation for you. You have to participate in it. It's very important. I think a lot of people in these divinatory readings on YouTube, they feel that this is being given to them as if, like, okay, life, here it is. But no, it's the cycle that's unfolding. You have to engage. Do you want to up level? Do you want to just sit back and have the wound narrative take hold of the reins of your life? You get to decide. That's your free will choice, you know. But I bet a lot of you are going to actually be following this call. So follow the natural urge to connect with this beautiful, you know, pure source self, okay? Because it's calling. Beautiful, Scorp. I can't wait. So for those of you interested to connect with my work, the Holosynthesis work that connects evolutionary astrology, the organizing principles of natural systems, and Byron Katie's The Work, to understand the soul narrative and then to free yourself from it, you can be in touch. You can go to the alchemyofholism.com. You can take a look at the selection of services that I have. I'm probably going to continue to hone them down so that there's a cleaner selection. Right now, there's quite a few selections, but you can see what appeals to you. Certainly, the soul print identification, if you have not had that done already, is foundational. So for those of you called and with the means to do it, I recommend, you know, diving. And if you have any questions, you can email me. The other thing that I'll say is that if you're interested in connecting with the members, I have about 32 members that are part of this group, and we do weekly live streams. If you're interested in that support now, that's on offer for you, okay? And I have two different ways by which you can become a member. One is through Patreon. The other is just strictly through PayPal. Anyway, the details of that is below. And if you have any questions, you can reach out. All right. I am sending all of you so much love and support to navigate this very truly dynamic and a bit paradoxical time that we're moving through now. This chapter is very rich. It's very dynamic, and it has extreme challenges, but yet extreme magic occurring simultaneously, and it can be exhausting. So you might find that your energy is quite depleted lately. It's a lot to navigate. So quiet yourself, breathe, do your meditations, because that's going to be your source of peace and strength as you navigate this intense summer, which is going to be intense for the collective and you as well. But again, there's an opportunity here for you to really get clean and clear. Connect with the joy within, you know. It's quite beautiful. All right, Scorp, I'll say goodbye and I'll see you next month or sooner than that. All right, bye-bye.